Okay, NFL fans. Some news. Antonio Brown has been traded to the Oakland Raiders, and it's for real this time. It's happening. Now, if Antonio Brown was not the player that he is, and I mean this with purely on the field, so if he wasn't that player, this makes no sense. I would not touch Antonio Brown with a mile long pole because he's such a locker room cancer. And I don't even think it's debatable at this point. Go look at all the antics the guy's had. People want to call Odell Beckham Jr. a diva. This guy's wow when it comes to antics and locker room cancer. But that skill that Antonio Brown is an elite receiver. Some people think he's the best receiver in football. I don't think so. I think he's definitely a top 3, top 4 wide receiver. So his ability on the field cannot be doubted. And the Raiders have sent a 3rd and a 5th round pick to the Steelers for Antonio Brown, and they re-signed him to a 3-year deal. Now, like I said, leaving his personality and his cancerness, if you will, aside, this is actually a very good. I mean, this is a steal. They got him for a bag of chips. 3rd and 5th round picks hardly ever become starters in this league. They hardly even become decent players. And this is a guaranteed elite wide receiver who's still playing at a very elite level in football. So the Oakland Raiders, they're bringing in talent. I mean, this is a good pick in terms of how good he is. I mean, the Oakland Raiders are debatably the worst team in football, and they need talent, right? It doesn't matter how old it is at this point. They just need talent, and they brought some in at wide receiver and some of the best talent in football. But me as a GM, I probably would not make this move, especially if I'm rebuilding my team, because just the kind of person Antonio Brown is, the antics he has, it's just not, especially if I'm going to be drafting young players. This is not the guy on my team I want to kind of mentor my young players. This is not the guy that I want to be setting an example for my young players who are going to be coming into my locker room. A lot of people aren't really thinking about that. They're just thinking about, 3rd and 5th round pick, 3-year deal for Antonio Brown. He's only 30 years old. He's doing phenomenal. That's all great. But you have to think about the locker room. It needs to be healthy. I think Giants fans, us alone, we know how important that locker room health is. I think last year was enough. Not that when I say last year, I don't mean 2018. I mean, I think the 2017 season was enough for us to understand that a healthy locker room is very important. And I do not think Antonio Brown is somebody who brings a healthy locker room. I think he makes somebody who makes a locker room worse. So you have to think about these rookies who are coming in, and this is the guy who's setting the example. I guess that's kind of a personal issue you could say I have with Antonio Brown, if that's what you want to say it is. But it made more sense if the Bills brought him in because you have a young quarterback who needs a receiver. Maybe the Browns, right? That made more sense to me. I'm sorry, as I hit the microphone. That makes more sense to me. And the Raiders, it's not like, I mean, you just need talent. I mean, let's be honest. For the Raiders, I mean, this is breaking news. This is insane. Everybody's been wondering where Antonio Brown was going to go. Honestly, I didn't care because I don't really like Antonio Brown that much, although he is a very elite receiver in this league. I'm just excited to see how this is going to play out. I'm very intrigued to see how news is going to come out with him, and Antonio Brown had a tweet of like him looking at Derek Carr or something like that, saying like love at first sight and acting like Derek Carr is as good as Ben Roethlisberger, and he's not. So Antonio Brown just got a worse quarterback, a worse team, and a worse situation. And this is somebody who gets frustrated if he's not getting the ball. So here's the thing about Antonio Brown. I think Antonio Brown will be fine because Antonio Brown doesn't care about winning. Antonio Brown just wants the ball. And in Oakland, he's going to be getting the ball. He's the only person they have to get the ball to. So I think Antonio Brown was going to love it, especially if he's still going to be with them when they move to Las Vegas next year. So I think he'll love that. So I think it's a good deal for Antonio Brown, clearly. If you're the Raiders, first off, like I said, I wouldn't sign him. But if he didn't have his locker room problems, you just did a phenomenal job. You signed him to a 3-year deal. It's not like you're going to be throwing a 5-year deal on him, so he'll play till he's 33 for you guys, which is not bad. Not bad at all. And you give up a 3rd and 5th round pick for this guy. I think the Raiders did a good job there. Like I said, they have a lot of cap. Antonio Brown's going to be taking a lot of it. But the Raiders, they have the money to make this move. They have the picks to make this move. Now, in my opinion, the Raiders, they have to land their first 3 to 4 draft picks. They have to be good picks. You have 3 picks in the first round. You have to nail them all. You just have to. After a move like this, you have to nail your first three picks. You just have to do it if you're if you're the Raiders. So Oakland Raiders fans, like I said, in terms of talent, be happy. But you also just got a huge cancer and a guy who could be a huge headache. So be prepared for that. The Steelers, congratulations. You finally got rid of that cancer that has just been leeching on you for a while. And at least you got a 3rd round pick out of him, so you can't be too upset about it. Although I was expecting more of a 2nd round pick to come out of Antonio Brown, if I'm being honest. But then again, if you're the Steelers, you don't have any leverage because he doesn't want to play for you. And teams know that. And teams know how much cancer he is. So if I'm the Pittsburgh Steelers, be happy you got a 3rd round pick out of him at least because you had no leverage in this trade. So congratulations. I think this is a decent move for both teams. Raiders bring in some talent, and the Steelers finally get rid of a cancer that's been plaguing their team. Although I'm very interested to see how Juju Smith-Schuster will stand as a number 1 receiver. I thought a lot of people think he's just so good. I think he's a good receiver, but I think he's more of a true number 2 than he is a number 1. So I'm very intrigued to see how Juju Smith-Schuster will play out as a number 1 receiver now. But breaking news, Giants, NFL fans in general. So I'll see you guys in the comment section down below. Subscribe if you haven't. If you're new, drop a like if you liked the video. Dislike it if you disliked it. I know my opinions are a little different. My reaction is a little different than most other YouTubers are showing. So let me know how you guys felt about that, okay? And good night. It's 1 a.m. I need to go to sleep.